There once was a team from Piscataway whose hopes for a bowl had gone that-a-way. Their new stadium plans depends on fans in the stands, but they're all selling their tickets for Saturday. How you doing, Jersey? Welcome to the Star Ledger Newsroom, Friday, September 26th. You know, every 2 years in New Jersey hosts one of the biggest and best gatherings of poets from across the country. They gather here at Waterloo Village in Stanhope for the Dodge Poetry Festival. Now, this is one of the best events of the year in New Jersey. It is the Woodstock of poetry. It runs through this Sunday, and we stopped by yesterday. Check out the video.
Jungle means hello. One means peace out. I almost cared who my mother was, looking satisfied through cast iron bars.
The poem began as a failed homework assignment for a class at Colonia High School that Ivana Howard thought would be easy. Then it won a state contest and earned her a spot in this week's Dodge Poetry Festival.
I guess something came of it because I guess I have to be kind of good to be here.
With help from a volunteer coach, she and 17 other winners made final preparations on Thursday. Ivana said she struggled with her writing teacher to finish her poem.
She was like, "It's wrong, redo it." And I was like, "No, I like it." It's called My World. In my world, fathers go to jail or just don't exist. In my world, girls get knocked up or get skulls cracked. And now the cedar trees are dying. And maybe because it's the new redwoods, I should probably change that. I like writing when I'm mad. So everything is like all over the page, and half the time it's not even online. It's like little paragraphs in boxes like around the place. Existence was a struggle. Slavery, the Civil War, and all for what? We stay fighting, and we still get our butts kicked, and we become nothing, and sit behind cast iron bars, and sing out our songs like the cage monkey will become.
There's much more coverage of the festival on NJ.com. And also, we have links to the schedule, to the full lineup on the Ledger Live blog page at NJ.com/Ledger Live. One more note, it is pouring out there. It's a rainy weekend, but all the events there are going to be covered. As you can see, they're in tents or indoors, so something really fantastic thing to do, especially on a rainy weekend like this. Moving on, the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. is building a new museum dedicated solely to African American history and culture. The founding director is a Jersey guy, Lonnie Bunch. He was here yesterday and in town. He was honored by the New Jersey Historical Society, and I caught up with him on the Rutgers campus yesterday afternoon. We had a great discussion. We talked about a lot of his impressions and remembrances coming back to New Jersey and what he thinks historically has happened here over the past few decades. And in this snippet, we talk about what his museum is doing to capture some of the history in the Barack Obama campaign. Check it out.
We're in the middle of a huge historic moment. Barack Obama, the first African-American nominee of a major party. And I wonder what you're doing with the museum in terms of trying to gather this history now. Are there materials being gathered right now?
Absolutely. We have spent a lot of time. I mean, part of what a museum does is a museum has to look back and look forward. So part of what we're doing is to say, what would somebody who sits in my chair 50 years from now need or want to know? So one of the things, obviously, is this election. So we have sent people to the conventions to collect everything, to collect the materials, to collect the silly hats people wear, to collect the homemade signs. We collect all the commercials that are, or the political campaign commercials that are made. We collect all the stuff that's on the internet. So that basically we are trying to make sure that we capture this history. So yes, we'll interpret it in the museum, but most importantly, I want somebody 50 years from now to be able to say, we have the material to tell the story. Best example is when I first came to the Smithsonian years ago, they wanted me to do an exhibit on slavery. Just wasn't enough stuff. There wasn't anything here. So I want to make sure that a curator never has that problem when it comes to issues of race in the future.
All right, again, that's just a clip from that interview. There's much more to it, and he is certainly a fascinating guy. The rest of that video is embedded on the Ledger Live blog page, nj.com/Ledger Live, and also on njvoices.com. All right, story in the Star Ledger today talks about how the controversial $100 million Rutgers football stadium expansion depends largely on them being able to fill the stands during the games. And then being able to fill the stands depends largely on the team winning. So far this season, that's something that the Scarlet Knights have not done. They are 0-3, and this weekend they go up against Morgan State. We have our weekly preview. Check it out.
At this point, what can you say about Greg Schiano's ability to coach? Are we learning something about him that maybe while he can build a program, he hasn't proven yet that he can coach the team?
I think it's a valid point at this stage of his career, and I think after 8 years, we're starting to get a little bit of I think there's enough proof there or enough evidence there to draw some kind of conclusion. And you would think within 10 years, he'd have them contending for the Big East title. It's not going to be this year, obviously.
And now we're looking at Morgan State game. You say they're going to try to break in another quarterback. Who is that going to be, and what can you expect to see from him?
It'll be Chris Paul. We may see a little Natalie. I think Chris Paul, being a third-year sophomore, has to start playing. We have to see what he can do. He's thrown 3 career passes, I think, and we just haven't seen him in game action. So it's time to see him. He may be the future, or he may be the stopgap for next year until D.C. Jefferson and/or Tom Savage come in to take over.
Do you want to pick a score this week, or do you want to pick the attendance this week? Which number do you think is a more important number?
I think I'm gonna get both of them in one shot.
Okay.
24-14 Morgan State, and 24-14 will be the attendance.
So you're going with Morgan State this week? Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bears.
Well, I'm going to have to pick Rutgers again. Rutgers would be 4-0 if they just listen to me. I'm going to go 35-10. You're going with Morgan State.
I haven't been right all year.
Yeah,
I'm 0-3. I picked Rutgers to win 3 straight games. They were favored 3 straight. Wow. Why start now? Why start being right now?
That's a good theory, and one that we should close this show with. Steve Politi, Tom Luicci, signing off again. Thanks for watching.
Ouch, those weekly Rutgers previews are getting pretty dour. All right, that wraps up Ledger Live for today. Keep in touch. Send us your photos, videos, emails, everything you've got. You can shoot it to us at ledgerlive@starledger.com. And, of course, you can always log on, sound off on our news blogs at NJ.com. All right, Jersey, take it easy.